Welcome to the Q.A.C. Team Podcast, your quality assurance consulting team. Quality is our highest priority for your business with one goal, one direction, success. And now here's your host, Charles Luttrell.
Good morning, listeners. My guest today has experience in the dietary field. Jen, good morning. How are you?
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. So let's go ahead and get this thing started. Let's tell us who you are and what you do.
Well, thank you. So my name is Jen, like you mentioned, and Jen Judd, and I go by the name on YouTube and on my Facebook as JJ VegaNowledge. So JJ is just a name that I've had. My little sister created that for me due to my initials because she couldn't say Jennifer. So I kind of went with that when I started this new passion that I have for explaining to people how to vegan and also what it is and how it has basically changed my life for in a healing type way of health conditions I had. And I have a YouTube that I do that actually we have today is Monday when we're talking anyway. So I have a live stream that I do on Mondays, which is interactive. I have also healed different chronic health conditions and people who are inspirational and have other types of knowledge in the vegan and plant-based world. And I also have a Facebook group that's kind of like a support group where I post information. And I also am going to be starting a blog if you prefer to read instead of listening and watching information coming up later this month. And I'm also going to be mentoring where we'll meet once a week and see how your progress is going, help you with tips on what to eat and a lot of information. And it's just really been a great like life-changing thing for me at 42. And the reason I started doing this is because I'm passionate about it, which in a lot of my life I've had jobs I can get passionate about them, but this is the first I'm truly like feeling at home where I can teach and really help people improve their life.
Yes, let's talk about that a little bit. So you've had some health concerns prior to doing this, correct? And let's talk about what puts you in this, you know, position to where you want to share this knowledge with, everyone about being vegan and plant-based.
Yeah, so like this is so interesting how it started. Like probably everything does that sometimes happen is like a mistake almost, or at least it seems like it at the time, just an out of the blue thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Dawn was getting into growing microgreens, which she had gotten into a lot of the raw living foods and was looking at all these videos. And I said to her, you know what, that sounds interesting. I might want to, you know, um, get into that because I've always been kind of interested in being healthy and I've been on tons of different diets trying to lose weight throughout my life. And I ended up watching this video called Raw. It was a documentary, and it actually had the funny thing, it had Woody Harrelson on it, from Cheers. And so that was like interesting that he was talking about how raw foods had made him feel more energy and how he didn't have any more allergies. He began stopped eating meat and dairy, and it was based on all this waking up constantly with mucus. He had seasonal allergies, and he was just always sick from when he was young. So he, it basically like had changed him in that way. And I was like, this is interesting. I'm going to go ahead and try and see if I can, stop eating meat and dairy. And all these people are healing. There was a guy on there that he healed his type 2 diabetes. Someone had healed even their form of cancer that they had and heart disease. So I was like, this is really cool. I'm going to look more into this. And so that evening, it was April 5th of 2019. I was 42. I grew up on the standard, American diet. So family like thought I was crazy. Like, okay, what is JJ doing now? She's, not eating what I'm eating, and this is some, thought it was a phase, I guess we'll say, right? So
As
then
most people go through phases, right? I mean, we all go through this, right? We have these different things of way we eat.
right. Especially with all the information out there, that makes it really difficult what we're
Information
dealing with.
overload, right?
Yes. So I guess like what ended up happening, I was just giving it a try. I'm like, I'm gonna try to eat take out the meat and dairy, and I'm gonna try salads and you know fruits and vegetables and things for, a couple of days, which it ended up, I felt really good after a couple of days. So I said, you know what, I can keep doing this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try this for a week. And so after a week, I just started to feel like a different person, almost like I had lots of energy that I never really had before when I woke up. And I would have I guess the energy is what's really started things off. And then so I kept going. I said, I'm going to go for 30 days. And like after 30 days, I realized that that year, it was April of 2019. And what ended up like, I never developed my seasonal allergies that I had had since I was a young kid. Like I would get, a cold. I'd wake up with the itchy, watery eyes. Sometimes I didn't even want to like put the windows down in the car if it was any little bit of wind blowing because of pollen, and I would suffer with that from like June,
Right,
July, sometimes in the August, September. Even then the hay fever would start, and I just, it was so weird because I just kind of got used to it. I'd just take my Claritin, and sometimes that would work, sometimes it wouldn't. And that year I was like, wait, I'm noticing my eyes aren't watering, and I'm like right out here. What's going on? And it was
uh-huh.
almost like an epiphany. I'm like, okay, is this that diet? Like, no way food has this. Like, I thought that was the stuff blowing around outside. What was, causing it? Maybe it was the dairy. So then I'm like really kind of bought in. After 30 days, I realized too that I didn't have this like chronic back pain that I had had since my late teens. I would wake up, or if I sat too long, I'd have really tight, tightness in the back. And just, I had to get on an exercise bike. Sometimes I'd have to have people like, hey, can you like, pull that middle part of my back, because it felt like the muscles were constricting. And even the doctor said it might be because my spine was a little bit curved, and the ligaments or whatever were pulling. And that completely, I was like, I'm not feeling that anymore. And
Uh-huh.
then I had started losing weight, and over a period of about 6 months, I had lost like 50 pounds, which I was started out at about 185, which was really overweight for my 5'4", 5'3" and a half, build, apparently, according to the standards that you look at online. And I was like, maybe that helped the back pain. I don't know. I had, so I was like, I'm going to start looking into this a little bit more. And I started finding other people who had, like on these Facebook groups I was in, that had healed different things by going on just vegan diet. Not to mention the raw diet was like really like accelerated things for people, because the food doesn't lose any of its nutrients by cooking it. You just automatically lose a little bit when you start to heat things up. And then it was like, I guess after 6 months, I had never been able to say this in my life. I actually lost like more weight than I wanted to. I'm like, well, I like to be a little, I'm starting to look a little like too skinny for my own self. I'm like, did that really even come out of my mouth after years of, well, let me try Atkins and this or that, and I would go up and down. You can see on my Facebook pictures, like, you look at memories,
And
right?
that's the thing, right? You know, there's so many diets out here, so many fads and things that we are pushing our face about how to lose weight and how to do this. And I see it on TikTok now that all these people are talking about, oh, carbs aren't the problem, this and that. And everybody has their own opinion of what we should be doing, you know. But
Exactly.
I think you hit it right, is that you found something that works for you.
Hmm.
And you want to share this knowledge with people who, hey, try this. It may work for you, you know?
Exactly. And then I started doing like researching. I'm like, then I started with the why, like why is this what's happening? And I started
Hmm.
realizing that like when you our our body design compared with other animals, in a sense that their digestive system, the amount of acidity in our system, that we have to like break down foods and things, I started realizing that like our digestive system doesn't match that of what a carnivore is. Then it started making sense why people have so much acid reflux and stomach issues. It's sitting in us for too long, whereas fruits, especially, I've just realized they move through the system like the fastest, so it's less work for our digestive system. And I see why it kind of is, like why it's the case, and how like cow's milk, even though we all grew up with it, I mean I did, I thought, milk does a body good, we need it. I didn't realize that technically that milk was meant for a baby cow only until he's big enough to grow on his own. And it just was like my whole world turned around. Like, I'm like, I'm reading this stuff, you ever read information and you're like, no, and then but it's like it's making sense to you, and I'm like, okay, this is crazy. I've got to tell everyone to, at least like you said, if you're dealing with something, or feel, compassionate about, animals, and lots of people have a lot of information out online. I don't focus mainly on like environmental issues. There's information how factory farming, hurts the environment. And I started finding all this, and I have this belief that everybody can, or what they want, but I feel like they should be able to have the knowledge. So I at least want to put it out there so that people can discover what I did, and maybe, they have other things that they need to heal, that this could really turn them around. I know people who've gotten off their type 2 diabetes medication that's had like, side effects, that they're dealing with, and they're dealing with this for years using insulin. And like, it when you see someone that tells us, I've gotten off all my medication, like I interviewed a lady, Miss Mary, who had chronic arthritis pain just last week or the week before that on my live. And within a couple of weeks of going on a diet of fruits, she ended up like reversing and being able to get out of bed and started feeling better. Now she's in physical therapy and doesn't have the chronic pain that she dealt with since 2015 or something like that. Could barely get
Hmm.
out of bed. So that's
Wow.
what inspires me, to
Right.
help people and to put this information out there. And it's something I still, work at a different job. Like I work in customer service, and I used to have a food delivery business, so I was probably delivering a lot of bad food to people. But
You were
um,
helping people in the opposite direction, right?
yes, right now I feel like, oh no, so going, and I see why, like we were discussing this earlier offline, why your life sometimes will move in those directions. At the time, I felt like, oh, that was the end of the world. I didn't know what to do with myself when we decided not to do that any longer. And then I'm thinking this is, probably the direction that, that I was supposed to go in, and that this may be what I was really passionate to do, was help people. And I'm just thankful for you letting me, come on here. And at least if people want more information, like they have a place to get it. So
Yeah,
um
absolutely. I think that's what's good, right? Because we all have a journey that we are meant to do. And sometimes their journey takes, a sharp left, a sharp right, over a hill, under a hill. And until we really find what we're passionate about and start looking in the direction that what we were meant to do, we do different things. And I think what you did as the delivery service is a really good idea. Obviously, if you look now, there's DoorDash, Uber Eats, so
yes.
we have other companies that are picking up what you did, you know?
Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, we were DoorDash before there was a DoorDash or Uber Eats. People thought our idea was kind of crazy at the beginning. Like, you're gonna what? You're gonna go pick up food,
And
and
deliver it to
deliver it.
people. Yep. Well, I always said several years ago, as I said it at McDonald's, I said, man, if somebody ever creates a way to deliver McDonald's, man, the game is over because that's going to be killer. And
Right?
look at it today, right?
You were right on that. You're
Right.
very innovative. So you like, and then I feel like it's just been, like you said, like a journey. Like, even when I ended up adding, cooked food in, because I actually wanted to pick up some weight, and at that time I didn't realize that I didn't really need rice, beans, and those kind of carbs you know to pick up weight. However, I noticed at the time there is a big problem, I guess, if you are plant based, with options.
Hmm.
However, at restaurants, and I started noticing that from me delivering, and almost even thought, should I start a vegan delivery? Like, it was almost like the old business was coming back to me, And I was like,
Right.
okay, now stay focused, Jen, stay
Stay
focused.
focused.
You,
Stay
you already
focused.
had that, time, and that you came out of that so that you could focus on something else. So,
Right.
but that is just the cool thing about it, is even through every phase of eating that I've been, and I've tried some of the vegan, processed burgers and things that they have out there, and I've tried just eating like rice and beans, along with, and there's such good, like, recipes that you can find out there. Like, I know a lot of vegan chefs that do amazing things, whether it's
Hmm.
raw food or cooked food, and it's like there's so much stuff out there, you realize. And now the stores have so many, they're coming up with options, so I can see changes happening where, more people are giving it a try, and hopefully that'll cut down a lot of people's, if it does what I think it would do for them, cut down on healthcare costs, and
Hmm.
just the world not feeling good. It's like having energy, and liking the way that you look and feel, and just like everything, just being on a, almost, you feel more calm, a lot of
Hmm.
people say too. And
Right.
so this was like, I was on cooked foods and things, and I still felt good. I've kept the weight off for the 4 years. But a couple of months ago, I interviewed a guy, a minister of wellness, on my channel, and he was talking about how, fruits actually have natural carbs, and how they kind of, you don't need like rice and things if you want to gain weight, avocados and different healthy fats. And I was like, I felt really good being raw, and this is a way I can keep my weight up, by increasing my fruit instead of vegetables. And I've been doing that now for 2 months. And I'm like, I felt like I was home again, like where I started.
Right.
I wanted to call Woody Harrelson and tell him thanks for the advice, but I'm feeling great too.
Right. Well, I got to say, I'm guilty. I get my avocado from Chipotle,
Yeah, I went on a Chipotle kick.
and
Boy,
their
Don can tell
guacamole
you.
is so good.
When we I was still out there in the field, like, delivering, I would have to get there by 10 o'clock when they closed, or quarter of, because it was like I needed to get my Chipotle fix. When I realized they had sofritas, which is like
Right.
the plant based. It tasted like chili. I was like, oh yeah,
Uh,
definitely. They have good
yes.
guacamole. You know,
Right.
um, actually figured out how to make it, the Chipotle guacamole, but I don't want them to find out, right?
No, absolutely not. But it is on your somewhere in your information, right? Did you have it posted, or because I'm going to circle back to that. I want to talk a little bit real quick about how the different ways to contact you and different ways to get and share information with you. Now, you have a YouTube channel we talked about, and it's a Facebook group that you have, right? Is that the most active? The Facebook group is where people can share ideas with you and get information from you and with you.
Yes, and I always respond to everything that's posted there. If you have questions, I can leave you with my, direct email. I can give you also my Facebook group link, which is probably the easiest way to interact with a bunch of other people. I have people who are, kind of, I want to say, hardcore meat eaters that are on there just because they're trying to support me and they want to see what it's all about. And I'm like,
That's
that's
great.
cool, because that's
Yeah.
where I was. Like, I love it. Like, learn about the information, do what you want, maybe give it a try on Mondays or for a week. That's what happened to me. Like, I didn't know any of this up for 42 years. So I'm like, and whether you're just interested in maybe losing weight or you have something, a health condition, it's definitely worth a try. I'm not a medical doctor. However, I've been really researching this for 4 years and have my own personal story. So you'll gain a lot of information. I have people who've been vegan their whole life on there on the
Uh-huh.
group, so they can kind of give you advice. I've got people that cook vegan plant-based meals on there, so like we all kind of help each other. And that's what the community I've created. We share information, so definitely join that just if you want information. And the YouTube, obviously it's free to subscribe. I'm trying to increase my subscribers. If anybody can subscribe to my YouTube, I'd be really, really grateful for that.
There you
And
go. Yes. I can, so I can put one link in the show notes that I will add the Facebook group, or do you want the YouTube one? I can put either one in there.
if you do the YouTube, that way they can really get the information. They can interact live with me on Mondays, and then the Facebook group is linked in every video too.
Okay.
So that would be cool if we could do the YouTube.
Okay.
Thank you for that, by the way. I'm really excited to share
Absolutely.
this information.
Yeah. So that's what I'll do. So, so the listeners that are listening to this, you'll find the link to her YouTube channel in the show notes. That we can click right on it, interact with her, share ideas, learn from her experience. And you've been doing this for how many years now? 4 years?
Yes. So it was April of 2019. So I'm over little over 4 years.
That's great. And I looked around at your Facebook group for a while since I just recently joined, and I'm looking at some knowledge that people are sharing in there. And that's a great way to learn. I'm loving it. Great,
Excellent. Yeah,
great.
definitely learn about what the different benefits of fruits and veggies and just different ideas. I'm really happy you joined, and I'm thankful for you giving me this time as well to come on and try to see if we can help others get this information.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I want to mention. I think I said it earlier too. Is that I think what I like about all this is that people have so many places to go to where we can share our knowledge and information that may help somebody else. You know,
Yes,
somebody
because
can
that's how
post
I
in there.
got it. I really am excited to share, this information, and I'm passionate about it. And I'm really thankful for you letting me have these, moments on here to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad that you took the time to come on and share your story because I think, you know, the more different people that come on my podcast and we talk about different things, we can all reach an audience, of whoever across the world. And that's the beauty of the internet. We can reach so many people.
Exactly. I mean, and that's the about social media. And sometimes it's like, even if you don't think anybody's looking, at some point, like you said, a comment or a post, people can see this forever. Or my YouTube videos, even when, from when I first began this, it's like that's all still on there. So if I can help even one person, that's what's important.
Hmm. Absolutely. Well, Jen, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story and taking your time with me.
Oh, definitely. And I will keep you posted, on YouTube and the Facebook page of how this is progressing. And I hope everything is going really well for you and everyone. I was listening to everyone's business, and I wish everyone success. I was listening to the other shows as well. So thank you.
Absolutely. Much success to you as well. We'll keep in touch and share. We'll keep sharing the knowledge, and we'll all be helping each other.
That sounds great. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
You're very welcome, Jen. Enjoy the rest of your day. I know you have a busy filled day as well as I do.
Yes, well, I know you're very busy. Thank you for everything you do. And I will talk to you soon. Everyone, I wish you lots of health and wellness.
Thank you, Jen, so much for sharing your story, and enjoy your day.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
You've been listening to the Q.A.C. Team Podcast with your host, Charles Luttrell. Connect with us on the web at QACteam.com, Facebook and Instagram at QAC.team. Thanks for listening.